Welcome to the Low Carb MD podcast. No one is beyond help. No one is beyond hope.
As we have always said, we are bringing you medical information and cutting-edge science, but none of this is medical advice. Please seek out input from your own doctor.
Hello, welcome everybody back to the Low Carb MD podcast. This is really special, and Brian's pissed he couldn't make it. He's out on a mission to Guatemala, like he does twice a year, serving the community there that really needs medical help. He does this mission twice a year, and he was so bummed that he couldn't make it. He was so upset. But we have two really special guests today. They are the brains and brawn behind the Keto Orlando Summit, which yours truly will be presenting at this year. It's going to be really exciting. This is one of the largest and most diverse conferences on ketogenic and metabolic health. And it has people ranging from doctors, nutritionists, just enthusiasts, people, podcasters, and my friend Dave Feldman went last year and he said it was amazing. He was so happy to be there and so happy to be a part of it. Today we have Judy and Erika, who are going to introduce themselves a little bit and then talk to you about their story and how they got involved in this space. And then maybe we'll drill in further into the Keto Orlando Summit, and then maybe a little bit more into them individually as well. Guys, so excited to have you here. This is awesome.
Yeah,
we're excited to be here.
Yeah. So how did you all connect? That's what, I want to, because everybody's got their own story and I want to go into the stories, but how did you guys connect? Because I've seen you on the Clubhouse together. I've seen you on, so I'm interested to hear, because everybody's got a keto origin story. We'll go through it. But how did you guys?
I'll let you do it, Judy, since we met on your club. So I'll let you start.
Okay. So hello, everyone. So there is this amazing app called Clubhouse that came out basically like the end of the pandemic. And so it's a live audio app, which is kind of almost like being on a live podcast. And they did this thing where you could create clubs. I created Keto for the Soul, which is the very first club, keto community on the app. And basically I was just out there searching for like-minded people. I thought the app was originally like business minded. And then I'm like, wait, it's just things you love to do. So created this app, and it was like everybody else probably felt the way I did, where I'm like, oh, I'm ready to connect with like-minded people. And so Erika had joined, I think the first like 2 days into it. And I don't know, our personalities, like we always say we're twins, because our personalities are so similar that we just like clicked. And then I'm like, okay, like so many of us took our relationships off the platform because we're like, wait, like I want to know more about you. So we connected, and I'm like, that's all she wrote. Like we're best friends from that point forward now. But yeah, so then we actually, she had the event, and I'm like, man, it would be really cool if we could actually do like the very first Keto for the Soul meetup at your event. And then from there, Erika, I'll let you take it over. But it's like literally we talked on the phone every single day and we became inseparable, even though I was in Memphis, Tennessee, and she was in Orlando, Florida.
Yes. So miles and miles and miles apart from each other. Hi guys, I'm Erika. I was very blessed and fortunate to meet Judy on Clubhouse, that audio app. After being on social media for years and meeting so many wonderful people living the ketogenic lifestyle, I had built a nice community that wanted to get together and meet. So back in 2019, I did my first meetup. It was like 50 women. We just wanted to meet. We just, we were having success on changing our lives, saving our lives, and we just kind of wanted to get together. So The first 2 years, it was small. It grew. It was blossoming into what we call the Beautiful Girl Gone Keto event. And then once I met Judy and maybe hundreds of other people that were doing the same things, I was coaching at one point and it was like, oh my God, I just want to meet like-minded people. And when I connected with Judy, it was, people think we're crazy. We say we're twins. She said it. We have so much in common. But then we realized with the love of each other and with the events that we were attending, we weren't seeing us, our combination so much out there. And we were like, why don't we do something together? So why not have the first Clubhouse meetup and combine it with what I was already doing? And it was amazing. It just took off. That was, the first thing that we collabed on together. And we were like, wow, we're onto something. We're onto something. And it was about changing and saving lives. We were meeting people where we were and where we planned to go. So it's been uphill since.
I cannot tell you, it's funny, this podcast started on social media the same way, right? The very podcast you're on, I had my lived experience, Brian was having his lived experience, and we were like, hey, we got to connect.
Yeah.
And, one thing led to another. So it's just amazing to sort of see how, how you guys connected and what's come from that. Can you talk a little bit about, maybe we could start with each of you and you guys pick who goes first, just your origin story and sort of what was your primordial use? I mean, to be the founder of a clubhouse so big, right? To be somebody who's putting on conferences, right? To be somebody who's really invested in the space, it has to have impacted you. So I want to hear sort of, why this? Because you guys could all be going doing something else, but you're throwing, conferences, getting people together, talking about health. Everybody wants to make a little buck, but there's easier ways to make a buck, right? So I want to hear what's driving this for each of you, and if you could tie that to the origin story, that would be cool.
Well, I'll jump in because I have to start by saying this is not about the coins. It's really more about what Judy and I and so many others have experienced in deciding to change our relationship with food. I had no idea that I would be here today. When I started the ketogenic lifestyle, I say I suffered from the 3 Ds: death of a very dear loved one, divorce, and depression. And I still get emotional when I talk about it, so I'm just going to touch and move, stick and move. I was kind of rocking in a corner. I really thought at 48 years old that, it was a wrap for me. I had put so much of my life and my time into my children. I'm a boy mom. I have 4 sons, and they're all getting of age now: 32, 22, 18, and my eldest son is 35. So it was like now they're getting older and I fell apart, physically. My body was falling apart. My health was falling apart. The death of my niece is really what kind of packed on another 60 to 80 pounds. I was 376 pounds when I started my health journey. And all I wanted to do was feel better. All I wanted to do was see light at the end of the tunnel. So when I started the ketogenic lifestyle in 2018, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna, because I've always been this, oh, I'm so confident, oh, I'm so cute. Even at almost 400 pounds, I would walk in the room, act like I owned it. But internally, I was broken, and just to come out and say, when I started my social media page on Instagram, hi world, I'm almost 400 pounds and I'm about to try to lose this weight. I'm about to try to get my life back. And as I started, I went from 5 followers to 10 followers to 100 followers to not even about a follower, but about women who were going through the exact same thing that wanted connection. And, gradually that support, that push from the community, it wasn't just me, all on my own. I really felt like the community was behind me. We were together collectively, like, let's go, let's do this. I lost over 100 pounds in 10 months, but more importantly, I shed depression, anxiety. I felt like I was born again. I really had drive. I had purpose. I found community. And I had to share that. Once it started to grow to what it became, it was like, there's no way that I can't share this with other people. I have to tell them that there is life after 45. There is, you can reverse pre-diabetes and diabetes. You can find happiness again. And it had to be shared. And collectively, oddly enough, with the events that I did, it was amazing. But it really took it to the next level when I met Judy on Clubhouse. And we all started to do what we do at the Keto Orlando Summit, and that's share stories, right? So when Judy and I started sharing stories, when you hear someone, she's young, I'm going to tell y'all, she's young enough to be my daughter. She could really be my daughter. She's my when we started talking and realizing that I'll let you tell it, but once we met, it was, oh, you too? Go ahead, Judy.
Yeah, 1000%. So a little bit kind of my backstory is um, in 2019, I had been struggling with postpartum depression for 3 years ish after having my child. And I had developed anxiety. Just I had gained, oh gosh, I'd gained probably almost 100 pounds. Just trying to like figure out how to be a mom after giving birth, figuring out how to be a good spouse, how to be a good person, plus to have a career and like juggle all these things. And I just always felt like I was just sinking in this hole and I couldn't figure out how to get out. And I remember hearing about this lifestyle and I was like, oh, I don't know. I am a thyroid cancer survivor. I had thyroid cancer when I was 16 and 17 and kind of transitioning like as an adult and figuring out after, giving birth to a child now, my hormones were just like crazy out of whack. And so my doctor at the time was like, no, 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 you can't do keto because you don't have a thyroid. And so I didn't understand what exactly that meant back then. So I spent like that next year researching the word keto and this thing and hearing it was a fad diet and like just basically all the things that I know now are just mumble jumble bull crap is what I'll say. And so I finally was at this point where I had developed this anxiety to where my husband was like at work and I was literally at home with my baby with all the lights on, no matter what time of day it was, because it was like something was off. And I had a girlfriend come over because I'm like, maybe I just need a girls' night. And she had brought some alcohol and I could feel it in my gut that I was starting to like almost have an anxiety attack while she was there. And I was like, no, I don't think I should drink because I keep feeling this type of way. And I don't know what it was about this night. I was like, you know what? I just said it out loud. I was like, tomorrow I'm trying this thing. I was like, I'm tired of feeling like crap. I'm like, nothing I'm doing. I'm searching in all these places for happiness. I can't find it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't have, at this point it had been 3 years since I had my child. So I'm like, it's not like postpartum depression or anything. I love my baby, So it was like just searching for something. And so um decided to give it a try. And within 10 days, I could just feel like I always say it's like I was coming out of this cloud. And it was just like this aha moment. And I wanted to tell everybody, like, I wanted everybody to know that my depression was like immediately just like feeling a different type of way. And so my husband then, who was a non-believer of this lifestyle, because he's like, Judy, you've tried so many things. He's like, you just do it, and if you can do it, then I'll think about it. And so 10 days in, he could instantly see just like this transformation that was happening so quickly before both of our eyes. And on top of that, I lost like 7 pounds, 7 to 10 pounds the first week, and I was like, holy crap, like what is this? So at this point, my husband immediately, he's like, okay, I'm doing it. And it's in August of this year will be 5 years that we've lived this lifestyle. fast forward a little bit, you know, kind of going through the pandemic, it allowed me to kind of be by myself with my family and kind of almost, I would say I was like hibernating all these years. And then this app came about. And then on top of that, I had created a secret Instagram to where I was like, I'm going to hold myself accountable. I'm going to post on this page because I see people do it and they hold themselves accountable. So on this private page that nobody knows about, Keto for the Soul, I am going to share my story and maybe somebody out there can relate, you know, whatever. So did that. And then Clubhouse comes about and I'm like, holy crap, I can find like-minded people. So then at that point, I had lost 83 pounds. My depression had been, I always say it was in remission. My anxiety had gone away. And just, it was just crazy to me how just shifting what I ate and what I put in my body allowed me to feel so different and impacted literally my entire life. And then just the way we view everything. And so when back to meeting Erika, it was like we just wanted to share our story, and we didn't really realize how impactful it was sharing the story and sharing what we had been through until we were hitting larger audiences. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many people that feel exactly how I feel, and if they just knew that eliminating the carbs or the sugar or whatever it is, that they could feel just a little better. And so, yeah, now again, it's almost been 5 years. I've had, I say, my little keto baby. We had another child. And this time around, I did not experience the postpartum depression due to my diet. And I was able to like just completely have a whole different 360 experience with giving birth and then recovery and all the above. So now we have a 9-year-old and a 1-year-old. And based off the first experience, I was like, I don't ever want to go through this again. Who would want to do this to themselves? And now that kind of learning how to handle all the things, I'm like, all right, let's do it again. And I have the tools now that have allowed me to, you know, live this life and be very grateful and see just how amazing this lifestyle really is.
It's interesting, like what I hear from both of you is like somebody like lifted like this weight off of each of you, and like here you are now, like let's have another kid, like, you know, like let's go. And then, you know, with Erica, with your, it's like I'm ready to go, like do stuff, meetups, connecting with people, making conferences. Like it's just like somebody, it feels like somebody just took off like a tranquilizer, you
You know
know?
what, Dr. Cho, I always say it feels like the weight of the world. So it's one thing to lose weight physically, but what we were feeling, what we were burdened with, it's like the weight of the world was lifted off of our shoulders. It was just like an aha moment. And just because, and I say just because for years we both struggled and we didn't know what it was. Just because we changed our relationship with food, just because we changed our relationship with sugar, let's be clear, with sugar, it changed a lot in what we have been able to accomplish. And there is no way that two women like myself and Judy can experience this, along with, again, the hundreds, if not thousands of people that we connect with on a regular basis that say, listen, this will save your life. This will have you feeling born again. So,
You know, I want to talk a little bit about that because I think, you know, there's something that I hear here. There's a tone that I hear because when you go to, you know, like I talk at other conferences and they're very like, you know, medical conferences. And
Yeah.
I talked to Dave Feldman from last year, and I watched some of, you know, the sort of the feel and the vibe from last year, and it's like totally different. Felt like a party. You
Yeah.
know, it felt like a good time. You know, I mean, not that lectures aren't a great time. They're awesome. Like, you know, medical lectures, very sciencey and very, you know, they're great, you know, getting continual medical education. But the feel of this conference that you guys are putting on seems different. And I want to just, you know, talk a little bit about that. because, and excuse my ADHD brain, but I'll tell you why that I want to talk about that. Okay. I want to talk about that because I know from the tone you guys have talked about, you said, people telling you that it was going to cause a heart attack, people telling you that, just all of the BS. Maybe we could start that discussion in the feel of Keto Orlando and juxtapose that to how many times you were marginalized by doctors, by trainers, family, food pushers. I want to like hear that because people don't hear that. People are like, oh, it's great. I dropped sugar and it's been great. But I know you guys went through more than just that.
Oh my goodness. Well, let me really quickly talk about the fact that Judy and I have collectively traveled the country to go to other events so that we can learn and we can do and take away some great things, but then learn and know what we want to change for ourselves. And we could actually say the Keto Orlando Summit is a celebration. It is a celebration. Number one, we're learning more. We call it where science and celebration meet. So we do want to learn. We want people like yourself, and we're so thrilled that you'll be joining us this year. We want people like yourselves to educate us to the continued education that we need. But also, in years past, I'm going to just name drop a couple. Who goes to an event and you're swimming in the pool with Maria Emmerich? Who is at the gala dancing with Dr. Kim Berry? Like, where, who is actually
Or
playing
Nisha.
basketball? Right. Who is playing basketball with Benazati? Who is, trying sardines at the event with Dr. Boz? You know what I mean? Like, who's doing that? And what is awesome about what we have cultivated here now is that, yes, we are here to learn, but a lot of us, everyday folks, are there because we are celebrating that years prior, we couldn't be there. I was losing my mobility. I couldn't be there, physically without. I was the girl in Target with the family, with the boys walking behind me in my little cart. That was me. But we've all been told along the way that, well, when I first started, everyone laughed at me. I didn't tell anybody like Judy. I was secretly on Instagram telling people, that I'm starting keto. I didn't tell my family immediately. They all wanted to know what I was doing. I lost my niece, and I'll try not to be emotional. I lost my niece to diabetic complications. She was 22 years old. She was diagnosed with diabetes at 16, and she fought the good fight. One of the things I love about you, Tro, is for years and years, I have all sons, as I mentioned, so she was more like my daughter. I have three nieces, and she was my twin brother's daughter. So we were tight. She was like my child. But one of the things that she used to say to me all the time was, Auntie, it's okay. I can have that. Look what the website says. The website says I can have all that. She was the Diabetic Association. When I tell you that I was so angry for so long, and what's the new news about what's out now and how they're changing things and how they're not going to be taking money from other companies, just the information that is out there for us was wrong was wrong. And now that we're starting to see a lot of the research and the changes that are being made, kind of, I guess, go against everything that we were learning as we were coming up. There were no keto snacks when I started the keto lifestyle. I didn't have to fight with, snacks and cakes, and I didn't have to because it was all eliminate processed foods, whole foods, so on and so forth. It's just so much out there. And Judy, you could probably relate to that in terms of things that you were told, things that I say we were led astray, right? And I think as our society, being able to travel and go out of the country and try other foods and lifestyles, and you see that our country is one of the only countries that allows so much garbage in our food. It's not food. I'm sorry, I
No,
digress.
no, no, no. I gotta like harp on this a little bit because of what you said about your niece, right? 22 to die from diabetes complications. I'm sorry. The ADA is a terrorist organization. The American Diabetes Association, and I'm going to say it again, is a terrorist organization that takes money from companies so that they promote grains and soy products and they do not care. They are literally pay for play for recipes. There's a huge, whistleblower right now. Nobody listening to this should be part of that organization. You should renounce your membership and join the Society of Metabolic Health Practitioners right now, right? Because it is not if I were in your shoes, I am so angry.
Right.
We all, I think, need to be okay with getting angry.
I've been angry for a while, and that was a part of, before I found keto. She passed away before I found keto. So one of my, I'm gonna try not to get emotional, but one of my survivor, things when it comes to her is that, damn it, she passed away in 2017. I found keto in 2018. Had I known what I know now before she left us, she had a coma. She actually went into a diabetic coma and passed away at home alone. And she was just, anyway, she had just gotten like the little insulin pump to be on her body. And again, we saw her the weekend before, and she had all this. She came in the house with these cookies with this. Oh, but Auntie, the website says I can have that. Oh, they said I can have. It was horrible. So I did have a lot of. I wish I knew then what I know now, because she very well could have still been with us. I know it was already written, but a lot of what she did, because she was young. She was young. She didn't know. And that was her third coma. She had the first time was in college, and her roommate found her. The second time was with her mom, and her mom found her. The third time, God took her home because she was alone. But she trusted the information that was out there, and it was wrong.
So the problem here is, and I just want to harp on this, it cannot happen. This cannot happen. And right now, the SMHP, and this is like not been disclosed, nobody knows, we're just about to submit guidelines for type 1. Guidelines so that patients with type 1, because we can't trust the ADA. About 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we were having a meeting with all the low carb metabolic health doctors. And they said, maybe we should, try to reform the ADA. Look, they just accepted low carb. And some others said, look, the ACLM, the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, that's an Adventist group that, that really promotes, meat abstention, right? I got no, but they promote meat abstention, right? It's a vegan, it's a vegan group. And then another one was like the AFP, the American Academy of Family Practitioners. Maybe we could join with them, but they took money from Gatorade and Coca-Cola, right? And I looked around and I said to them, we don't have a home. We need a new home. We need a new home. And what I love about you both is you've created huge homes. Keto for the Soul, Keto Orlando. I cannot tell you how much that inspires me. And I know if your niece was here, I know she would be proud of you. I know she would.
The good thing is, because of the only way that I can do well is knowing that I know that she's here and she's proud of us. I know that she is. And that is the way that that's the way I move on, is because I know that she's proud of us. And I say us because of what we are collectively doing to prevent, like you said, other people from losing their family members. My twin brother's life is forever changed. He lost his daughter to something that didn't have to happen. It didn't have to happen. So yeah, I'm sorry to bring the tone down. Sorry to bring that down, but I think it's important that people know. Judy will tell you, we have people that are very near and dear to us that are no longer, I can't say no longer did you say it earlier? In remission from diabetes, type 2 diabetes. Go ahead, Judy.
One thing I want to add to that I haven't really even shared anywhere is that, we live this lifestyle and we've had all these things come at us. And again, we know we're not the only one that's heard, oh no, it's just a fad diet. There's too much fat. They focus here. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. We have bought in to this lifestyle because we've done it. We put the work in. We put ourselves first. And because we've allowed ourselves the chance to live this lifestyle and experience these things, it's allowed us to take ourselves, I would say, to the next level, to become the best version of ourselves. And sometimes even the closest people to us, even now, living this lifestyle 3 years in, I'll share a story, and that's what I'm saying I've never shared anywhere, is coming out of a ketogenic pregnancy. It took me a year to actually get pregnant with our son. And I ended up having a conversation with Nisha and Ken Berry, and they're like, look, guarantee reset your hormones and try BB&E, beef, bacon, butter, and eggs. And I promise you, I'm like, you're gonna see something. And what's crazy is just 3 weeks in to eliminating and allowing myself to have this almost like a reset, we found out we were pregnant, and I didn't even know. And so, that will forever be ingrained in me. And then going my pregnancy, in the beginning, finding an OBGYN that was like, I went in there full force. Like, I live a ketogenic lifestyle. This is how I got here. This is where I'm at in my life. So if you don't accept this, I'll go find someone else. And she was like, no, 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 no. I love that you're living this lifestyle. And I didn't even have to like give her the spiel of like staying away from processed foods. We just eat whole foods and things like that. She accepted it. And I was like, okay, this is something new. Like, never had a doctor like be okay with this. So, going this pregnancy and her following up with me and watching me go through this journey of, can this be done? Can you eat keto when you're pregnant? Is this going to harm your baby? And I'm like, how is staying away from junk food going to hurt my baby? It's not going to hurt. And then giving birth and, giving birth to like a 9.5 pound baby that was 10 days late. And he didn't want to come out. He wanted to stay in there. He was enjoying all the good stuff. And then a month after giving birth, my husband ended up in the hospital with diabetic ketoacidosis. And this is now a new part of my story. And although I live this lifestyle, my husband has lived this lifestyle, he went back to the crap, and his diabetes came back. And although I'm sitting there watching him, and he thinks I'm acting like his mother, and I'm like, hey, you shouldn't eat the Skittles. What are you doing? What are you doing? Valentine's Day comes, he buys Starburst, Jolly Ranchers, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? We don't do this. Like, and we don't let our children eat like this either. We know where this leads to. And then he ends up in the hospital, and it was
Yeah,
sorry.
that's I'm so sorry. Like, that can be challenging, and it sounds like he's going through a lot. Both of you guys have type 1 family, huh? So
Well,
that's a huge deal,
yeah. Yeah. So
Is your husband type 1? Sorry, maybe I made an
no,
assumption.
no. He
Yeah.
is type 2. He is type 2. And he's restarted his journey, and he's went back into remission. He's eliminated the foods. It allowed him, while he was on insulin during this time period, to give his kidneys some rest. It allowed him to get a continuous glucose monitor paid through the insurance. So he got a Dexcom, and that is another huge game changer in this space and this world for people who, need to track. So yeah, we're back to, now here we are, a family member. We're now back to square one a year later.
Hold on. I gotta play doctor here. I gotta play doctor. Okay. Your husband needs better medical care right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm guessing 40-ish years old or younger.
He's 38. He's 37.
Okay. He's 37 and he was admitted with diabetic ketoacidosis. The only way that can happen is if he's type 1. Okay. or there's something, it's type 1.5, right? Which means somebody's missing a diagnosis. He's missing a diagnosis. I'm going to tell you that right now. Okay, this is not medical advice. He needs good medical care. One of the only ways I've seen in my entire career that somebody with type 2 can get DKA is if they're on a medication that makes you pee out sugar. Okay, which is he on a medication that makes him pee out sugar? You don't have to tell me, by the way.
No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah, he needs good medical care. He needs really good medical care. What he's getting right now, I'm telling you, is subpar medical care. Somebody's eyes are not open. The only way a 38-year-old gets DKA is if they're type 1 or maybe he's honeymooning. He's honeymooning, which is often what happens, meaning you get the autoantibodies and they take, could be like a year, 2 years, 3 years until you're full-fledged type 1. Now, again, this is not medical advice, but I cannot leave this here without telling you your husband needs good medical care. He needs a good doctor. And you're in Tennessee, you said?
So we're now in Iowa.
You're in Iowa.
We moved.
Okay, you're in Iowa. So he needs good medical care. Have him call our office. Okay, he needs a little bit more of a workup, unless maybe he's had it. I don't know, but something seems a little bit off here, right? Something's a little bit different, So I just have done this long, and I know you didn't come here for medical. This is not medical advice.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you said that because I moved back to Iowa, which is where I'm originally from, and met with my doctor and that I had as a child who found my thyroid cancer. I'm thinking this man is great. Go back to him as an adult, knowing what I know, and he's totally against this lifestyle. Now I'm looking at him like he's an idiot. And I'm
Yeah.
like, and he tells me, because we have a family history, he tells me that my husband is type 1 because he had diabetic ketoacidosis. And I was like, God, this man's really an idiot.
Well, maybe he was
So now
he's not.
He might have been onto something.
I'm going to tell you, your husband needs good medical care. Your husband needs good medical care, and he needs a good 38. Make sure, I'm sure. Well, I'll meet him in Orlando. So, but hopefully, doesn't wait that long.
I told Dr. Boz on him because I found when I started this lifestyle, one thing I left out was I had found Dr. Boz on YouTube, and so she has been like a huge I'm going to say mentor on this lifestyle for me. And just, she met him at another keto event and I had already told on him. I'd already told her, she knew, and she reamed him what is going on? So, I would love.
I'm not reaming him. I'm reaming the doctor right now, because if you're hospitalized with DKA, you got to leave with autoantibody testing. And there's something is off. Something smells. I'm sorry to
No. I love hearing this from you. You are someone in this community that is very well trusted, and you've lived this lifestyle. You've researched this lifestyle. I respect you. So hearing that makes me feel actually kind of relieved, and maybe, we'll figure out what's next.
Yeah. But the CGM, you're absolutely right. I agree with you. It's such an invaluable tool. On our app, that was one of the first things. I was like, everybody needs access to it. So you can just go to our app right now, get a CGM anywhere in the country, that was a huge task for us. So to get the legal hurdles to be able to do that, to be able to get everybody, it's not as cheap as we'd love to make it for everybody, but we'd love to make it cheaper. But it's something that we're working on.
Do you accept patients from Florida?
From 50 states. So we have 3 docs. We have 3 doctors, a PA, 4 health coaches, personal trainer, mental health counselor. We got a whole team. We're nationwide. We have a nationwide practice, just telemedicine, but but a lot of times the good docs like the one you have can just take care of it. It sounds like he was already thinking about the right things. So now your husband's got to follow through. So I won't ream him. I'll be very gentle. I'll be very nice, and I'll say, "You gotta listen to Judy. She's getting you mental help." But we'll meet him in Orlando.
Okay. Yes.
And thanks for sharing that. I know sometimes, these things are private, but I've been vocal. My wife's also been vocal about her medical issues. I think it's a healing thing, to let people know, they're not alone. They're not alone. So we'll get to meet him though at Orlando. Yeah. So can you tell me, I'm going to transition to something a little more positive. Tell me about Orlando, like who's coming, who can everybody expect to hear from? You know, uh, I know, I know there's a lot of, I saw the guest list, super impressed. So who's coming?
All right, because my memory is getting a little shaky at my big age. Um, I will tell you offhand, Dr. Robert Kiltz will be there, Dr. Ryan Lowry, Dr. Boz, Maria Emmerich, um, Keto Coach E. He's very big on TikTok with keto. Of course, yourself. We are so moved. And I'm a Jersey girl, so to have, a New Yorker coming to Florida. Yes, I'm a transplant from Jersey. So I'm thrilled to have somebody from up north joining us down here in the South. Benazati, who's one of my very faves as well. The first event that we did, trying to get speakers to come on board wasn't very easy, for something that wasn't, such a medical, so to speak, conference. And Ben was one of the first people that was like, absolutely, I'll be there. So Benazati.
My mom loves Ben Azadi. My mom's got the biggest crush on Ben Azadi. And every time I go to a conference that Ben is at, she's like, "You better say hi to Ben Azadi." So I pulled him aside once, and I was like, "Just say something to my mom." So he literally recorded something for my mom, and I sent it over to her, and she freaked out.
Ben is a favorite. I mentioned basketball. Like Ben, he's now an advocate for us playing basketball at the summit. He's like, okay, we got a team, we got a squad. So Ben is amazing. Also,
put me on Ben's team. I'm not as good as probably, but
yeah, he's very good. He's
we'll do the basketball thing. I want to just mention, if I didn't, because there's so many more people to address, but I do want to mention someone that I met, because we met you on Clubhouse. Nathan had brought you on, so that was amazing that we got to talk to you. But Dr. Tony Hampton, he is also near and dear to me. And I will just speak candidly, as an African American woman, starting out in the ketogenic lifestyle, there were not a lot of people that look like me. There's still people that's like, girl, what? You cutting out what? No, I don't think so. And to find, a Black doctor that is really, really 100% like you on board with the ketogenic carnivore lifestyle has been a game changer for me as well. So Dr. Hampton will be joining us. Judy, you want to jump in? I'm sorry.
No, and then we've got so many of our friends, again, that we've met on social media, or we haven't met yet in social media. Literally, this is like where we come once a year. We're like, all right, you heading to Florida? I'm heading to Florida. Let's go. We're going to Florida. And so, I mean, we've met some of our very best friends just at this event, just actually getting to spend that weekend together. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday event, and we all show up on Wednesday because we're like, we need that like little extra day to spend more time with our friends, because we only see each other once a year, because we know every year we're meeting in Orlando. So it's
the property too. The Hilton has been amazing over the years. They have really, I started doing this like right before the pandemic, like no, in the pandemic, 2019, like right, so they rocked out with us through the pandemic. And the property is amazing. The Hilton Orlando Resort is amazing. It's something that you should plan your vacation to attend, just because not only are you going to meet all of us, phenomenal folks, but the property in itself is amazing as well. So yeah.
And what other event do you get to go to? Like she said, we're swimming, we're doing water aerobics, like mid-event. We're like, okay, meet us in the pool right now, and then meet us over at the gym at the pool later, and then meet us in the conference room later. And then, hey, guess what? When we're all done, we'll go all eat dinner together at the restaurant. Like it's an all-in-one.
Do they
Yeah.
have enough
Yeah.
steaks? For sure. I'm a
Oh, they
little
have
bit.
a phenomenal steak restaurant.
Oh,
And in
the
addition,
way.
yeah, well, there's weight, but in addition, we talked about, being able, I will speak for myself in saying that, prior to me, I'm still a big girl. A lot of people might look at me and say, you live in a ketogenic lifestyle? Yes, I am. I am a little keto-ish right now, um, because of some things that I'm going through. But again, almost being 400 pounds. I was not to reference my size, but I was a 26, 28. I am hanging around at an 18 right now, and she is happy and comfortable that I can walk, that I can ride my bike 20 miles. We have the gala that's at the Keto Orlando Summit. It's a celebration where we actually give out awards. We hear stories from people like us and you, Dr. Cho, having your own story as well. We dance, we laugh, we celebrate, and so many people that live this lifestyle now have stories where they can say, "Well, I couldn't bust a move on the floor, back in 2015, but I can now." So it's a lot, and I do want to add, because we are so grateful and thankful for you again attending, that anyone that is listening, they also can take advantage of savings by using the discount code Dr. Tro, Tro. So anyone that's listening, if you're interested in attending, we want to make sure that we recognize that this is Dr. Cho's audience. So you will get an additional % off of your tickets if you decide to join us, and use code DRTRO from a desktop or a laptop computer.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, and it's super clear also, they were like, well, we want to pay you. We want to pay you for your, support and this and that. And I said, you
We did.
cannot pay me at all. I don't take any affiliate money. So this is just a discount. And just so everybody knows, I have, if you look me up on Sunshine, which is like a way to look up, if a doctor receives any money from pharmaceutical companies or device makers, there's a big fat zero. I've never taken any affiliate, for speaking. I just want to support you all. I wanted to support you last year. It couldn't happen this year. We're dropping my son off at camp and then getting right over to you guys. So, we'll be there, and I'm so excited. And I'm also grateful for you guys for what you're doing. The fact that, this is, the sixth time you've done something like this. It's really, it just warms my heart, and both of your stories warm my heart. And thank you for coming on today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. We are super excited. Uh-oh, Judy's still there? Um,
Yeah, I'm excited too. So can you list out sort of how people can follow you, find you, and where do they go? They're like, they hear this, they're like, I want to go to Keto Orlando. How do they do it? Where do they go?
well, first you can go directly to the website, which is ketoorlandosummit.com. You can get all the information about the event there. I have socials. Judy has socials as well. If you'd like to just contact me and see the fun, silly life that I lead, I am on Instagram under the THE Curvy Confidence. So I am the Curvy Confidence on Instagram. And when it comes to the event, Keto Orlando Summit. And you can also follow Keto Orlando Summit on Instagram as well. And Judy, I'll jump in for Judy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll jump in for Judy. Judy is Keto, the number 4 soul, Keto for the soul on Instagram. That is KETO, the number 4 THE soul. And she can be found on Instagram and Facebook the same way, Keto for the soul.
Awesome. I'm excited. I can't wait. It's coming up soon. Hopefully we'll see some, familiar faces, some new faces. I can't wait for to actually meet Dr. Hampton in person. We've always sort of connected on, podcasts and other live stream events. So it'll be great to meet him and his wife. Oh, Temple's also going to be there. Can't wait to meet
Temple
her.
Stewart. Temple's here in Florida. Temple's amazing. Like I want to just drive and I want her in my ear every day. Temple Stewart, she is amazing, amazing. Also, let me also just name drop. We have a huge supporter. Again, I'm not the biggest proponent of packaged processed items, of course, but Keto Chow. Chris and Marion Bear will be there. They are supporting us. Electrolytes. They have a brand called Salty, and their Keto Chow products. They are representing us at the Keto Orlando Summit, and it's amazing. Chris and Miriam have their own story as owners of Keto Chow, and we are very, very thrilled that they have, for the third year, been on board with us here at the Keto Orlando Summit too. So I can't not say anything about Chris. Again, these are companies and people, individuals that are stepping in saying, you know what, we support you. We believe in what you're doing. Again, before we wrap, I have to say that when you don't really feel like there's a space for you, you create one. And that's what Judy and I have done. I really believe that the face that Judy and I give, it's not for business. It's not to make money. We love each other. I love her children. She loves mine. We are family, and we believe that we need to be represented. And we appreciate and value your involvement. So many other professionals that are, in our community, they support us, and it's amazing, and we're grateful for it.
Both.
Thanks, Dr. Cho.